Hey, what's up my fellow Transformers fans? Welcome back to another episode of MP Reviews. I'm Mike. Thanks for joining me. This episode comes to you courtesy of a couple of commenters on the channel who actually rattled my cage to get me to do part 2 of this review. FPS HKED and Joey Moore _YV3LO. Apologies for getting to this so late and not keeping to my word on getting this thing done. Most recently, Joey Moore was the one who asked where part 2 was. I told him that I would have it done before Christmas. It's now after Christmas in 2025, but here's part 2. So a little backstory on this figure. I was embarrassed to do this review for 2 reasons. The first being that I damaged the toy and couldn't fix it. The second being that I had waited so long to actually get back to doing the review. Part 1 ended because I could not get the bot to transform into bot mode fully. One of the shoulders was actually frozen in place. I could not get it to rotate, did not know what was going on with it. That led me to contact the retailer to ask for a replacement shoulder part. Long story short, I ended up disassembling the bot and finding out that I could actually muscle the ratchet. And it now works, but in the process, I damaged the bot. And I damaged it pretty much permanently. I'm going to just call it quits on trying to fix it. But it still looks okay, and it's going to be in my collection in this way. I decided not to throw more money at it. This bot was, like $300 or so. So let's get into it. The bot you've actually been looking at is not LW-01A Atlas from Lewin Resources, the oversized MP-style Optimus Prime. This is actually from Weijiang, and it is MPP-10, which is an oversized version itself of MP-10 from Takara Tomy. And as you can see here, it is larger than MP-10, and it is much smaller than Lewin Resources. The reason why I wanted to bring MPP-10 into this originally was because I had heard that the Lewin Resources version was actually an upscale of it and not MP-10. In looking at these side by side, I don't really see evidence of that. Lewin Resources does its own thing in a couple of aspects. The legs, very specifically. And the MPP-10 and MP-10 are pretty much the same exact mold, just blown up. So I don't see the reasoning for saying that Lewin Resources is based on MPP-10 versus MP-10. If you know why that is or might be, please hit us up in the comments and let me know. I'd love to know why it goes one way or the other. So as you can see here, MPP-10's legs have more paint on the feet. They've got more paint at the shins right below the knee. Wheels covered with a panel, but they also look very much the same in mold. As you can see here with LW-01A Atlas, the wheels are not covered. There is not really any paint on those shins and legs. It's got a completely different mold for handling those legs. So Lewin Resources seems to be very different from both MPP-10 and MP-10. All right, I can't blame you if you didn't catch it, because neither did I. But here, we're actually supposed to be seeing panels on his shins. And I totally missed that on this guy, as you can see right here. I thought this was a difference between MP-10, MPP-10, and Lewin Resources. But the grates or the panels are right in here. So let's get those flipped out. Nothing super special here. Instructions made it look to be something more than maybe it really is. Huh, this is interesting. I don't know why this rocks. But there is movement here. Huh. Okay. All right. Also just comes loose, flips over, tabs in there. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. So that's cool. Another difference between MP-10 and MPP-10 and Lewin Resources that I didn't notice to begin with was that there are 5 of these vent panels on these two guys, but only 4 on the original MP-10. So these lower legs look to me like they're actually longer in proportion than the original MP10, which gives credence to the claim that I heard about Lewin Resources LW-01A here being modeled on MPP10 and not MP10. So in toddler-size Optimus Prime Part 1, we were able to see this guy directly out of the box. Now we've been able to see him actually pulled together in his full bot mode after I had to fix this right shoulder. I wanted to just show you that the backpack here is messed up, where I cut the loops off so that I could slide the torso off of this connector, and trying to glue it back on, I was not able to do so. But thankfully the backpack still does fit, and these two wing parts have tabs, which I guess may be helping to keep this together. As you can hear that tab there, so that is good. But this backpack no longer hangs off the back, as you can see. And of course we have Optimus's gun in here. That's what protrudes out the back. Push this out and it kind of unfolds just on its own. Give you a better look at this here. We got some nice paint accents. We do have a light in the barrel, so that's cool. Word to the wise, don't look directly into this barrel, because I did, and it left a little yellow mark in my eyesight for a minute or so, but it's kind of a powerful light. And get that. And then release the button on the back to compact this whole thing and start pushing it all together. And should lock. And we'll just put it back in the backpack, which doesn't stay on Optimus like it used to. And there we go. Just snap that on, maybe. And there he is. Word to the wise, don't disassemble this thing unless you have experience, unless you're like a model builder or somebody who's engineering minded. But if you don't have to, don't do it. I was able to fix that shoulder, but in the process, I stripped out both sockets in both shoulders and had to, use a larger screw to get in there and grab that metal. So that metal is soft, and we'll see how those ratchets hold up over time. A couple more notes on quality. These smokestacks. I don't know if there's a slight magnet in this, but this part at the bottom doesn't do anything but just kind of fit on there. So I'm not sure if that's gonna, fall off over time, but it didn't seem very confidence building to notice that this didn't really snap in, although as you can see, it's holding. So, but that is metal, and that is impressive. Also, they don't snap on really, they just kind of fit on. So friction fit, weight fit. One of the differences between this and MP10 and MPP10 is that this guy actually has on his forearm a flip up panel. Now these are on both forearms, and as you can see here, there is a screen in there for communications, as you can see in the cartoon apparently. But MP10 and MPP10 do not have this feature. This feature, I do believe, is a feature of MP01, which was the original Masterpiece Optimus Prime. So if you're looking for a little bit extra playability, that's a cool feature that it has on both arms. And you can have him talking to his fellow Autobots. As far as the insignia, that did not come with the bot. That is an actual accessory kit that you can get from Lewin Resources. I don't know if it's been reissued, but I was able to find that kit, and I will put the link below, although I wiped them out of the last two copies they had. It comes in this little red box, and it contains two types of insignia. One that's the red and white one, and one that's just a metal silver one. One thing that I also didn't care for in the quality was when I put my copy of this on Optimus, the face of it just came off the backing. So right now it's just sitting in there. I'm not sure exactly why it's sitting in there okay, but it may pop out on its own at some point. So just be aware that that is separate from the backing. And I'm not sure if there's a magnet component to that, but if there is a magnet component, it seems to be very weak. But perhaps it's just enough to keep that symbol in there. Also with this kit comes this 4-up of screens that you can put in the communicator on his arms. I just cut them out and I put the spike one and the ironhide one into his arms as you saw. So it is something that you have to cut up, but it is a decent quality print. Maybe it actually is printed on some plastic, but you know, it's not just flimsy paper that's gonna just rip. I would recommend, however, doing a really, really sharp cut in order to get these out and using a ruler to make sure those edges are nice and straight. So this is a kit that's officially from Lewin Resources. It came out a long time ago. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's been reissued. You can check for it. And if you're lucky, maybe you can find one on eBay or another third-party toy website. But if you want a copy, I do have one. Reach out to me and we'll see if we can make a deal. All right. And the Matrix does come out. And, turn that light on. Oh, these little battery compartment lids, they pop off. I tried to back this with some regular Scotch kind of tape to give it a little more thickness to grab, but it still fell off inside. So just be aware, those can come off pretty easily. And just kind of grab it by the edges, wiggle it out, and turn the light on. And it's a good Matrix. I mean, it's all one color. You know, it doesn't have any painted details, but this is metal. This is metal. So it's pretty cool. The only thing that I don't like about it, and maybe I've just got this thing backwards, but is that this can pop out very easily here in the front. So maybe I am supposed to have it the other way, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Turn this off from the back. So you press the button here and hopefully it activates. Not the best design on power. Oh, I guess maybe it makes better sense to push it from the front. Or maybe not. Combination of the both, I guess. So there you go. Jeez. Yep, not a great feature. Looks cool. Just not fun to try to make work. All right. And just slides in here because it's got those tabs in there that it goes around. And just close the garage doors. There we go. And the chest is tabbed, so one side is supposed to go first. So just make that one go first, I guess. But I do have a hard time getting these doors closed, probably because in part of that tab. Yeah, makes me a little nervous. Oh, another one of those battery compartment covers. Okay. And close. Okay. All right. Don't think about it too much. Just do it. Another quality aspect I need to point out are Optimus's ears, which are cool because they are metal, but this one is very loose. So it's not holding its position very well all the time. This one is fine, but just FYI, I don't know if there's a way to disassemble the head and tighten this, but I'm going to see about maybe getting some, I don't know, some kind of joint tightener if it really bothers me. But FYI, it was loose out of the box. Let's get him into that alt mode. This is a hefty dude. I can't say that I'm completely happy with the way this tabs in or doesn't. There's a lot of weight, you know, I guess at the front and the back. It bends in the middle is what I'm trying to say. There are tabs, but it needed some kind of retraction, some kind of actual physical kind of, you know, way to pull the two sides together more. But overall, it's good. Now, the part that I damaged, which can be seen in here, that backpack part, I don't really see how that would be causing any real problem, but also I don't know for sure, so perhaps it would tab together better if I hadn't ruined that part of the backpack. So he does tab, just not really that well. Let's get him laid down here. And he looks pretty darn cool, aside from the sag in the middle here. Let's give it a spin so you can see the details. Everything's looking nice. The smokestacks look really good. I like the pops of gold paint on the sides. The taillights are on so you can check those out. The cab lights are on too, but you can't see them at the moment. I really am a sucker for rubber tires, so those are a necessity. If you look closely at the wheel hubs, they have the Autobot symbol shape at the center. I thought that was a pretty geeky detail to add to those wheels, but it's grown on me, and it's kind of cool how you don't necessarily notice it unless you're really looking. Overall, it looks really good, but I really would have liked the matte metal finishes to have been actual chrome, which I think looks better, as you can see here with MPP10 and MP10. And here in alt mode, we can see how short MP10 is compared to MPP10 and LW-01A, and I think Optimus looks better with those longer and taller proportions. Now, one quality note here, this connector that holds the legs together has the same issue as those battery covers in the chest. It just does not want to hold snug in there. I put some tape on it to see if I could fill it out a little bit, but a single layer, even kind of a double layer, didn't do much. Didn't really do anything, actually. So may have to put some nail polish on that or something. If you have a recommendation, please let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I may not worry about it as long as it just sits there. All right, how well does this guy articulate? First of all, head, tilt up that much, tilt down somewhat, no side to side tilt at all, but that's all right, I guess. I suppose you could also open up the chest and then tilt this head down even further by moving this plate here. Or does that only go backwards? Okay. Yeah, you can go down a little bit more, but then the chest has to be open. So not necessarily a great function. And these battery covers are a consistent pain. They just come off inside the chest when you open it up. I'm going to leave those off. What's going on there? Okay. As you can see, the chest is a little bit difficult to close. I haven't really figured out the trick there, if there is one. Arms. Wow. Okay, now that was a little scary considering that I had to, disassemble one of the arms and I had to reassemble both arms after disassembling both of them. But it does go all the way out at 90 degrees there. It hangs down a little bit, but I guess that's just because of the flex. So basically 90 degrees. And that happens. This little smokestack bottom has fallen off on me a couple times, but we have 360 degrees. This leg lock gives out sometimes, which is not great considering how much weight there is on this character. We have a bicep swivel, 360 degrees. We have a arm bend to 90. We do have a butterfly joint of sorts, but it only goes backwards. So no forward across the chest motion. This is one cool thing that I really like about this guy is that he does have individual finger digits and fingers. The thumb, it has this free swiveling ball joint and one joint, and the fingers have 3 joints. So a lot of articulation in the hands. We have a waist swivel, which will go 360 degrees. There is no real ab tilt. We can kick up to about, 45 degrees and kick back to about 45 degrees. Knee joint goes basically 90 degrees. There's that leg lock again that lets loose. Wow. We've got a thigh swivel, which doesn't do a whole lot. Oops, let's keep the waist from moving. And we have internally there, externally there. So what is that? Maybe 45 degrees total. And then we have a knee swivel as well, which, if you have the space, I suppose, will go 360. Yes, 360. There we go. And last but not least, ankle movement. We've got a toe tilt down because that's a transformation part, right? So toe tilt down, toe tilt up. But, and his leg is losing its height because that lock is not holding. No ankle rocker, unfortunately. Which maybe they couldn't do just because this guy is so heavy. And I was able to do this cool action pose. Not the best camera angle, that could help. But I like to think that I have a decent sense for posing characters, especially when I'm looking at it on camera. And this guy has some significant limitations. This ankle rocker is a limitation. I don't like how the foot can't actually flatten out. There are no hip skirts here, so that's limiting the leg movement. There's no hip skirts in the back, so it doesn't flex that well. Or rather, it can flex, but getting it into a position that's going to look good, I'm not sure exactly if that's going to be all that much possible. Another thing that did happen while I was manipulating this guy was that one of these two leg locks gave out again. I was able to put it back, but it is a heavy bot. I suppose if you're going to pose him, you might have to take a while to pose him to make him look really cool. I don't know how much you're going to want to pose this guy. And here he is from a lower angle, just to give you an idea of what he looks like at a different camera angle. And, he can look cool, but he's not the easiest thing to pose because of his weight, because of some of the limited articulation. So my final thoughts on LW-01A Atlas from Lewin Resources. It's a very cool looking figure. It's a really, really passionately crafted piece. All the details that they've put into this thing, from the paint to the translucent plastic at the waist, it's a really nice presentation. It may be a little too heavy for its own good, and its limited articulation is not the most fun. So I'll say that, but if you're into this, I don't know if they still have this available for purchase. I bought this before it was then re-released. This was supposed to be the final edition of this, and they have since re-released this mold. I'm not sure if it's still out there because I think that was about a year ago, but if you want it and you can find it, perhaps they've tweaked some of this stuff, although I doubt it because this was supposed to be the final version and even it has those foibles. All in all, would I buy it again? I'm at a different place in my collecting than I was when I got this. I was very excited about the size difference, and the MP series had not taken the turn for the MPG series, which I'm not a fan of. And I don't think I'd buy it again. It takes up too much space, and it's only one piece. So I don't have any companion pieces to go with it, like Megatron or anything like that. So it's cool because it is a unique piece. And I will enjoy seeing it around my toy collection. But would I really actually go and buy it again? All right, I'm flipping here. Maybe 50-50 chance I would do that. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching this episode of MP Reviews. I'm Mike. If you like this video and you'd like to see other ones like it, check out my channel. If you want to get notified anytime a new video comes out, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well. And give me a like, leave a comment in the comment section below. And until next time, happy collecting, everybody.